Here we are again, Eden on EOS, the weekly all delegates meeting, open for members, etc. It's the, 6th of July. We have a deadline, Friday, for registration for elections on Saturday. So that deadline for registration, anyone who looks at this later on, it's running out at, if I got the time right, 1300 UTC Friday. 1300 UTC Friday is the deadline for registering for the Eden OS election number 7 on Saturday. And Saturday starts up already 1200 UTC community room for the latest information and the like. And of course, all that information is in the Eden community Telegram group. And the topic there says even new members, election info, so it's quite easy to find, no problems. And if there's any problems, ask a question. And for those who might not know, they would possibly know if they look at the recording, but me and Mohammed here, we are the 2 chief delegates out of the term 6 election. So we've been here now 3 months, kind of trying to guide it forward and come to this new election. And in short, myself, I came in with commitments, some of them put on me being upvoted and some of them my own. And my own commitment and interest was the bylaws, to fix the bylaws. And I would say, together with Mo, we had some discussions from different corners in the beginning of the term. And because I also had a feeling that, whoa, this was plenty. But in the discussions, because I'm the kind of person that wants short, concise bylaws, and then you have over regulations, everything on the sideline. And you can delve into them as you wish and please. And I realized that's not possible in Eden OS currently, because it's stated in a manner that it has to be one long document. And therefore, I kind of came around that, okay, let's do this, and then we can fix it up right away. And I believe we have a proposal now that will enable getting a much better bylaw in place in the coming term, as long as we get the buy-in for it. That was my own particular interest. Besides that, and what I also intended to do, but had it on a back burner, but it was stressed that please fix up our inductions so they fit with the bylaw, and also fix up the election process, because we've had our issues there for different reasons. Not so much technical as organization around it, and what time is it, and which room do we end up in, similar. So, and those were the 3 different areas where I kind of committed. And I must say, I'm pretty satisfied. We haven't done the election yet. We have not, I think, done a single induction, to be honest, but that's because we as a CDs have mainly been focusing on the future, what we have, before we start attracting new members into the community. But what we have done, me and Mo together, and with the active members in the working groups, and started to put the seed down for building an organization of strength in the coming terms. We have 4 or 5 working groups now that meet every week and go through different areas, and it should only grow stronger. And that's what we have built the bylaws and a new mission forward. So I'm quite satisfied with it. When it comes to funds, that's a different issue. We had very ample funds this time, since particularly only 2 CDs. And I have probably 3/4 of my fund still held, because I'm waiting for the projects that's going to happen. It's not a matter of distributing them out as soon as possible. Pomelo, of course, have gotten a fair share and similar, but I'm holding it on into the next term as well, so to say. And if I don't find the suitable projects or anything, it might be donated back to Eden as we go forth. We'll see how that goes. So funding-wise, because people often look at the funding mainly. So I'm sitting on a rather big pot there still today, but we'll actually claim it out, and then we'll look at where it's going to go back in. And because we have, of course, the opportunity of new CDs pulling back more than 90-day-old claims, not claims, let's say. Okay, that was a little bit thing for general knowledge, other stuff. In short, I'm satisfied with the work we've done. It was a bit more work than I expected, but that's good. It's been very productive and a lot of helping hands around. So with those words, I pass it on to you, Mo.
Thank you, Lennie. Yeah, I would say what I ran on was essentially the reputation system, continuing my work with that and pushing that forward. From that end, I think we've done quite a bit. I wasn't as active in the reputation circle as I would have been otherwise, and given all of the other responsibilities as chief delegate, but I was able to attend all of the meetings and help out with as much as was needed in terms of the development that Sachet was diligently working on. And we've managed to now decide to issue retroactively the SBTs for all of the past seasons. So that's being developed from that end. That will happen after this election, which would also save some funding in those terms. And we've also been able to close in on a UI developer. We've made our agreements, and hopefully when we get more funding, that allows us to fully be able to pay that off and be confident in that we'll be able to pay it off. Then we'll be able to move forward with that as soon as possible. If there's a rebound in EOS price, even better. That'll facilitate that going forward. But it's basically a closed situation where that's just ready to go. So from that end, I think the reputation system has made quite a bit of progress over the last 3 months, and hopefully it'll continue doing so. We're continuing to develop the code for that, and we've also had some contributions from other members in the community who have come up with some other ideas and possibilities to make it more to streamline some of it better. So looking forward to that, more discussions on that end. Apart from that, I also ran on bettering the organization and the structure of Eden on EOS and Eden. So one of the, I mean, coming into this, Lennie and I already saw a lot of things eye to eye, and we're already aligned in how we perceived the situation. So when it came to looking at the organizational structure of Eden on EOS and how we could better it, the proposition of creating the circles and the funding and all of that, we were already fairly aligned. I think we made quite a bit of progress there. I wish we would have made more, honestly, and that's going to be up to the next set of chief delegates to carry on from that end. And I'm more than willing to help out if they decide to uphold that structure and keep that going. I'll be right there with them and hope to help them out with it as much as possible. The bylaws was also something in the dispute resolution that I promised to be involved in, and that I committed to being involved in. I think we've done that as well. We've tried our best to make it as comprehensive as possible and as robust as possible. Maybe more than some would have liked, but hopefully that can also be iterated on and bettered in the next set of chief delegates in the next term. Something else that I had committed to also moving forward was the fund distribution summary, which we've just published today, and which we hope that it's a living document that will continue to be edited moving forward, and every set of chief delegate or term that comes up after this one can contribute to that, and all of the delegates, the new delegates that come up, can also continue to update that and keep it alive and allow for people for the delegates to continue sharing what they've been doing and stay accountable to the community. So hopefully that'll be helpful in that end. One of the things that I was asked to take on was the issue of the other language Edens. So we've reached out to the other languages. We've tried to see where they were at and how we could help them move forward towards being more productive as well. Unfortunately, a lot of them were still in the very beginner stages of this process, where we saw that the best thing that we can do really is focus on Eden on EOS and give that a solid structure that they can then replicate effectively. And that's really where I think our focus should be. And the way that we integrate the other members that speak different languages is by having them be a part of this organization how they can, and then learn the process and replicate it once they're able to, and once their community is strong enough and large enough to do it on their own. So yeah, that's from my end. That's what I've been dedicating myself to in terms of the funding. Lennie and I have largely been on the same page with most of the projects that we've commissioned and started. So we've been sharing most of the expenses, and the other part is the reputation system funding, which I've been holding on to, waiting for that to be in a position where more of those expenses need to be paid. So until then, it's in the Eden.nft or Eden GM. No, what is it? Eden NFT.gm account, I believe. So it's there for anyone that wants to look at it. And the other part of it is still in my account, which will be transferred over into that account as time goes by, and as I see that there's no more expenses that need to be paid for out of my account during this term. So yeah, I'm fairly satisfied with the progress we've made. I hope that it continues and it snowballs into something bigger. With that said, I'll hand it over to anyone that wants to raise their hand and go next.
This was really my first term of, I would say, like truly participating. I'd been a part of some of the elections in the past, but didn't really take it much farther than that. My election commitment was to get the Open Block Explorer launched for EOS, which we're very close to doing. I wanted to have it done a month ago, but we had some things come up where quite a bit more refactoring needed to be done on what the previous devs had done, more than we were expecting. And there's honestly some issues going on with UAL that don't make it super great. So we're looking at probably actually doing WharfKit instead before we put it out. But I do have the demo link that I posted in the general channel if anybody would like to go take a look at that. So, I mean, it works, right? It's just we want to make it work as people expect it to, rather. So it's more similar to blocks and we don't kind of have some of these weird issues going on. So we just want to get that cleaned up before we get it launched. It was really cool to have the Antelope Coalition agree to launch it at explorer.antelope.io. So that gives us a little vote of confidence, and I made sure to let Eve know that we're getting it launched there from the money that came from Eden on EOS and a little bit from some previous Pomelo grants, but mostly Eden on EOS. So trying to really show that we're putting out things while we get our governance figured out, basically, or rather our mission and vision figured out. So I would say we were fairly successful in that. I participated a little bit in the bylaws working group, kind of provided some of the work that we had done over on Telos and various facets to just get everybody started over here. Not that it would work perfectly, but I think you guys borrowed some of that, or quite a bit of some of the things that I put over for dispute resolution anyways. So yeah, I mean, I think just as an outsider perspective, I feel like it's moving in a direction rather than everybody trying to pull it away in different directions. So that was really nice to see. And I guess that would be my general comments. I guess I also helped with the NFT or the SBT project as well in the reputation system. We helped pull that history for getting those historical SBTs. So trying to just help where we can as a block producer and with our resources that we have as well too. And it was a pleasure working with everybody this past 3 months.
Yeah, hats off to all the work done in this round. Been more active in the sense of trying to get to the meetings, be up to date on what the changes are, and letting everyone know that the people that I brought into Eden I meet with on a weekly basis in other governance groups. So mostly fractal groups and a lot of alien worlds groups. So letting them know what we're up to. My main mission this last round was based about just observing. I'm not a developer. I wasn't hands-on on any of the reputation system, but it's what interests me the most because I see it's needed in our alien world system. So I haven't allocated many of the funds that I've received except into the circle, and I've left it to be open to what's the best way forward to fund the reputation system. And my initial thoughts before knowing enough was that we're always optimistic and always farther ahead than the reality. So I was hoping that maybe this round would be my funds would be going to implement the reputation system in alien worlds and some of our groups. So I'm going to leave it right now to just continue what needs to be happening in that circle, and ideally funding a fractal group that's contributing in the next 3 months to developers or whoever's active in that group to bring that to fruition. So and if there's success, maybe leaving some of that so we can implement some of that in our alien worlds fractals. But yeah, super excited to see the direction that, Lennie, Mo, and everyone else has put towards, all the effort put towards really defining where Eden's going in the future. Because it's been, like we all know, kind of loose in the past, and like you said, fractaling and separating out. So yeah, super excited. I'm going to be running this next term to push forward the hard work that's been done and implement what you've done into the next term. And yeah, just keep it going. These systems are needed in all these other groups. So we're at the forefront of a lot of the governance movements, and I think that the reputation system and us bringing in other groups to EOS, I think it's the right path forward. So once again, nice job, everybody. Yeah, that's all I've got.
Okay, thanks, Duane. And as you say, it's been this is a seed in the ground. It takes time to develop it. It takes more power, more humans, more bodies, and we do have a big membership. It just needs to get them activated and put the structure in place. Okay, next in the alphabet would be Jesse. If you'd like to a little bit, I can almost guess a little bit where funds have gone, but anyway, you're still entitled to tell us more about it. Please, Jesse.
Hey everyone, can you hear me? So it was a very memorable term for me, and I applaud Lennie and Mo, because for the first time there was an app proposed on top of Eden, where this whole time we're building the infrastructure. Like the reputation system is part of the infrastructure of Eden. And it's the upvote system, it's the reputation system, it's the circles, it's all of this stuff. But from an entrepreneurial perspective, it really aligns with me because it's just all about what problem are we solving. And to me, the way I interpret the new direction proposed by the CDs, it reminds me of when Block 1 said that the amount of funds to be allocated to a potential grant is so much smaller than our total funds that it's like not worth, from a business perspective, it's not worth it for us to do the due diligence. And I've heard this across other VCs. This is like a legitimate problem in the VC space. And, we're using, like I do at the Bees, we leverage lower cost labor. I mean, that's what blockchain's all about. It's global. So I really like the direction. I'm just a little like it's just hard because, like Lennie said, it's a seed in the ground right now, and there's so much more work to do. And I just hope that we have enough. We have enough people, we have enough funding to actually get this done, because it's like a really big vision, and it's complex, and it's like really difficult. So, unfortunately, I would, if I was in a position where I was more secure financially, personally, then I could spend more time on this. Because it's not, like, I'm out there, I'm solving a different problem that's a really severe problem. I haven't really presented it to the community yet, but my experience with the bees has kind of led us into this one really severe problem involving kids that we want to help with. But other than that, this is epic, like this is what I want to be, because it's just so cool, all of this governance stuff, and the upvote, the election's so fun. And so yeah, I'm definitely going to be always participating in the elections, as long as they go on, and I'm going to be supporting anyone who is supporting this new vision by the CDs, because we need an app. Like, this is what we need in order to get more funding. We need to solve a problem. So yeah, just really appreciative of, I mean, it's just so interesting that this time, hopefully we don't have any voting issues again, but we had 2 CDs this time, and we finally got an aligned vision. Like, this is like a very special term, because I don't think we're gonna have 2 CDs again, because like the last 3 elections, there was like voting problems in round 2 that blocked someone from being a CD. So yeah, I'm just really, really honored to be here. And so basically what I did was contribute to the reputation system. What I thought, I just tried to do kind of like the lowest hanging fruit thing, and getting these SBTs retroactively distributed, I think is like the first step. Like, there's a lot of grand visions about the reputation system, but what is the actual first step we should take? And unfortunately, we didn't get it all done, although we got a good amount done this term. But the actual distributions, like, I think we pretty much have it all set up. And I'll certainly be campaigning for the next CDs to pull that trigger, and just hopefully you don't have to do that much more work from all the work that we've done this term. So yeah, hopefully I see you guys at the election, and good luck. Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse. And yeah, I still repeat again what you also repeated about the seed in the ground. I mean, me and Mo and the people who's been active this term, it's all about putting the foundation down and similar. Now it's time to put a little bit of cement in between the stones, etc., etc. It's going to be timely and take effort, but it's a good mission ahead. So it's definitely worthwhile. Thanks, Jesse, again. Marco, would you like to share what you've been doing the past 3 months? I saw you came in. Welcome, Mick.
I'd actually like to comment on follow up with Jesse. He brings up a really good point. Moving forward, it is complex what's been presented, and I like the prioritize thing. SBTs have resonated with me, but prioritizing all the rest of what's come up in this term is a really good idea moving forward. I'm just going to listen to the rest of the way, guys.
Fair enough, Marco. And I do know, if you don't mind me saying so, but you are spreading the funds around a bit, and similar. You're a member of EOS Respect and more like it. But anyway, thanks, Marco. And last but not least, but happens to be the letter last in the alphabet out of the guys here, Patrick, please. You've also done a lot of work this term and the like, and that's much appreciated. So please tell us what you've done and what you think about things.
Oh, what I think first maybe about this term, that's the first time that it's well organized and well structured. So for me, that was very epic term. And yeah, so me, I was not even a delegate level 1 on this term, and on I have participated on every election, so that's the 6th time in a row. And I have always interviewed the delegates through Nova Crypto YouTube channel. So I made that again. I interview you, Lennie and Mo, at the beginning of the term, and on the 17th of June for the second time. And I loved it because you were not promising anything. You were just stating what you want to do on the present, not into the future. So for me, that was very interesting to hear. Yeah, I have participated to every meeting, strategy workshop with Gabriel Shaw, shout out to him. That was very important workshop. Without this workshop, we would never had the chance to find our purpose, the mission, and finally to have those bylaws, purpose paper, and dispute resolution process. So that's very well made and in the correct order, not create bylaws before to have find the purpose and the mission and the values. We want to strengthen EOS and give something to EOS. So that's great. Parallelly, I was doing fund and management and development of EOS DIN, EOS Digital Extended Network. That's a platform, and that's a platform very useful for hidden on EOS also. That's an aggregator of Web3 solution on the EOS mainnet, and I have worked very hard on this platform since February and until April 7, when the election term 6 was coming, and until end of May, June, 20 minutes before this call also. So, and I am working in collaboration with Jesse Jaffe of the Bees. That will continue, whatever happens. And with CAC also, that has made the flow charts for these documents. He has made the same for EOS DIN. And working with Vlad and Lennart. Lennart is a delegate level 1 on this term. Shout out to him. He has given 301 EOS to the wjfunds.eden. And myself, finally, 300 also. Also, if I am not a delegate level 1. So my point is, I have 3 cockpits. 1 cockpit for the Bees, 1 cockpit for Pomelo, a MindWeb hidden on EOS dashboard. Now I want to create a hidden cockpit for the term 7, because term 7 is very important. It's the goal, the objective of term 7. It's to put in practice the bylaws, all what is on paper, the purpose paper, the DPR, dispute resolution process, and sandbox that and validate that if this WPS, so worker proposal system, with an embedded data governance in it, I love it, until when? From July 9 until September, and I will be there every week. Also, if I am not elected as a CD, also if I am not elected as a delegate level 1, I have the time, I will be committed, I will be there. I will make sure that this plan on paper exists in the reality of a computer and on the blockchain, or at least off-chain in spreadsheets first to make prototyping a little bit. So I will work very closely with the other CDs to achieve this objective. And I want to design, and also I want to be part of the communication and media, because that's the angular piece. And that a Twitter account will be assigned to the comms and media circle, very important, to communicate what are doing the other groups, what are doing the other circle. I will create this cockpit for Hidden on EOS with KPIs and projects, and also KPIs and circle working group. And when I say KPIs and project, which projects? Project coming maybe through EOSDIN. And EOSDIN will give bounties for the Hidden on EOS delegate level 1 to nurture, or let's say, how we say that, to nurture, yeah, the project for a cohesive and entrepreneurial growth of Hidden on EOS WPS. I am also doing bounties with Pomelo. When Pomelo 6 will be finished, it's in a couple. Between Pomelo 6 and Pomelo 7 will come the bounties. So I will do that. Where are coming the funds? My own funds, a part, and also from Pomelo Season 6, I have received a non-negligible, that's okay, good proportion of funds. I have 66 people interested with my grant. I think that's mean a lot. So that means there is interest. The bees also have received good, let's say, people interested about the bees, interested about Podsum, about other tools that the bees are creating. So that's mean the bees plus Nova Crypto, myself, Michael O, if continue with the beautiful article that he's doing on Bywire, nice exposure, we can do something great during this term. So that's what I want to continue to do. Delegate level 1 or CD or nothing. And also, I am in parallel into the Hidden Fractal meeting with Dancing Joy, because that's very important that the CDs are showing what they are doing, not only at the end of the term or into the middle of a term, but weekly, showing what you are doing weekly, the progress. Then we can measure, then I can do the KPIs, the cockpit. That's what I want to do. I am a data guy, data analytic. So that's what I want to continue. And to finish, very happy to be with you on this term. And yeah, that's complex. That's not complicated. That's complex. There is a lot of to rationalize and doing the things iteratively, and to come directly to the most rapidly to the conclusion in July, in middle September already, something like this. If we are going in the good direction, validate the things, and maybe before the next, on the next term, term 8, create maybe the regulation framework that we need for a DAO in the correct jurisdiction like IFA has made. So Hidden on EOS could be also well positioned with a DAO in the correct jurisdiction. So I want to be involved in that. I am an entrepreneur guy like Jesse, like Mo, like Lennie, like Duane, like Adam, and like Mackenber Sparrow. So we need entrepreneur guys. That's not okay to be just in politics. And this governance now is embedded into the WPS, a data governance, not just a governance to do governance. Really, let's say startup, meta startup maybe. So happy to continue the ship forward. But it's clear if the price of EOS could go a little bit better, that will help. We will see. But
fair enough.
We will see.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you. No, it's good. You've done good work, and it's much appreciated. And you continue developing your own thing same time. So, yes. I mean, that's like a reference here to entrepreneurial. A few of you and similar. I mean, a community like this is require the same kind of infrastructure, more or less, like any entrepreneur project and whatever, because there's many different cogwheels, and we all have different talents. So to put it all together, you need a structure built up, and that's what we've been trying to do. And besides, it's still an hypothetical, except for the practical working groups and similar. But there are still people we know already that on own initiatives we're building up a DAP, for instance, on the dispute resolution process, because it's not easy if you're not legally minded or go through those. It's mainly definitions of a lot of things, but it helps by apps even on these things. So there are people working practically also to make it easier to take it all in for a future membership and to make it a functional and working community and organization. Anyone, but it's the first iteration, so there are still, it's a living document, and it needs to be reviewed by delegates, because it's not always easy to interpret on the blockchain, the memos and similar, what does this really mean. So each delegate by themselves, if they could go in and have a look at it, the background, the working sheet that is also for the delegates, and have a look at it and correct or suggest correction that needs to be done. I know my own account have certain issues. I just haven't had time to clear it up for it yet. That'll be in the next iteration. But I know pretty much exactly what's been missed and why. So I just gonna clarify that. Okay, I'll leave it to you, Mo.
Yeah, same. I also went through the spreadsheet and updated it to the point where I believe it was the 29th or the 20th of June or the 30th of June, whatever date it was still not updated 100% on my account. So I added the last transactions that I had made. So I urge everyone to take a look at that document, the Excel spreadsheet, and update it with your information, whether you're a delegate from this season or not. It's always, as we've been saying, it's a living document that we hope continues to be updated into the future. Not only that, but hopefully part of the initiative will be for the people that are going to be in charge of updating this, ideally a finance circle or an administrative circle, to go out and get in touch with the independent delegates who've received funding and ask them their subjective opinions of where that money went and what value they created with that funding. So that'll incorporate their perspective on what was created with that, what productive things were done with that money. So there's still more to be done from that end, and we look forward to that. Okay, so here for the introduction, we have the Eden on EOS funding distribution report is an effort to document Eden's financial status over time, as well as create a snapshot after operating for 6 seasons. While the operating budget and funds distributed has varied from season to season, it is necessary to establish how much value Eden on EOS has created in the EOS ecosystem and to showcase the combined efforts of Eden's members, delegates, and chief delegates. Additionally, improving transparency and accountability will foster trust and engagement within the community. It is the current chief delegate's goal to utilize this report to determine which areas of fund distribution were effective and to approach potential partners for further funding. So as we can see here, the fund distribution breaks down in this way, as in a general manner. We have 15.5% that's gone to Pomelo, 13.8% to marketing, 24.8% to personal projects, and 44.3% to other. We'll see the breakdown of the other later on. So in the Pomelo grants, we can see the projects that received the most donations, or that were most notable for the support that they received from Eden. Chinese Fractal CN. The Bs were strongly supported by Eden, as they deserve to be. Anchor as well, which has been a staple in the EOS ecosystem. DeFi Box, IBC, again, something that the EOS ecosystem has generally supported. EOS support, very beneficial for the EOS ecosystem, and which has been the concierge per se of the EOS network. DeFi Box Vault, which has a substantial amount of funding locked in there, and a lot of the EOS ecosystem also supports. And Overwatcher. Personally, I'm not that familiar with that one. Overwatcher will have to excuse me for that. So here in the personal projects, we can see, or let's see if there's anything in marketing. We have the EOSBs, of course, and Bywire. These are notable projects. Personal project summary. We have Gray Mass, Anchor, the EOSBs with social media marketing, 5,000 plus tweets, 5,000 plus followers. Nova Crypto, Eden Developments, Edenia, Challenge DAC, EOS, BioWire News with 20,000 plus tweets, 15,000 plus followers, 1,000 plus YouTube subscribers, 200 videos, 360,000 views. Marketing EOS, MindWeb, and HiFaDAO. Working group funds summary. So this is how the chief delegates have been distributing the funding apparently. We can see that 1.8% has gone to the working group fund. That's a new initiative. 13.2% to Pomelo, 12.4% to marketing, 30.7% to projects, personal projects, and 41.8% to other. We've distributed 240,000 roughly EOS. There was a total of 16 unique chief delegates who distributed more than 239,000 EOS. And that's chief delegates plus level 1. This accounts for 76.3% of all distributed funds. Level 1 delegate distribution of funds. Again, we see 1.7% has gone to working group funds, 22.2% to Pomelo, 18.2% to marketing, 5.7% to personal projects, and 52.1% to other. And this is where we have the available funding currently. We have 266,000 in Genesis.Eden, 45,000 in Budget.Eden, 5,484 in the working funds or the WG funds.Eden. So for a total of 316,986 EOS still available. All right. So that's a general summary of where we're at. For more specific data, we would have to refer to the Excel sheet, but I think that generally gives us a description of where the funding has gone. Any questions?
And if not, and even to explain why it's a little bit vagueness, I must admit that project, I recognize the name, but I do not know what it is. But this report was kind of finalized and approved by the authors, so to say, and we've seen it first time just recently ourselves. So we haven't actually had time to go through it really thoroughly. But it's one thing, again, it's a living document, because like I said, even myself, some errors, some corrections, but I need to just trace for on the blockchain and describe how it is. So there could be a lot of that other part, could be things like that are not clearly defined in the memo and similar, but can easily be verified by the person who did it through the proper TXs and stuff. Any other questions on this particular one? We're almost ending for the session otherwise.
Yeah, good luck everyone on Saturday. Looking forward to seeing everyone there.
Likewise.
Yes, definitely.
The same.
I wish all the best on Saturday, and be sure to show up at 12 UTC, already community room, because then there is the latest updates and all these things. Everything seems to be in place as should be from all different angles that are involved. And we just had confirmations today, so we are well prepared. But then you never know, you're dealing with technology. But I do believe we should have a good election coming up. Okay, Mo, you want to have any final words before we wrap it up?
Just simply to say thank you to all of the delegates and all of the non-delegates that have showed up to these regular meetings. I think it's fundamental and foundational to build this structure and this culture of being accountable, staying interlinked with one another, and communicating. So I think you guys have all done an essential part of this. So thank you very much for the last 3 months, and hope to see you guys at the election, and best of luck to all of you.
And my final word is that I do notice someone rubbing his hands violently as if we're going to forget him. I would have if not happened. So, okay, Patrick, you get 10 seconds to round it off.
We have a nice election coming on this Saturday, June night, 1200 UTC already for an AMA. You can ask all what you want to Lennie and Mo. And with that, raise your hand when you are ready. And I do the countdown. 3, 2, 1, 0. Go Idononios!
Go
Adios.
Idononios! Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening or afternoon, whatever it comes up. Thank you.